to me, it's a no-brainer. It's just having common sense that we have to encourage new industries to really call this home, to bring new jobs, to generate dollars. And this industry does it. This is a clean industry. Not even the environmentalists give us a hard time about this industry. They love it. So no one can criticize anyone saying, well, you gave dollars that you had to education or to health care. No, we generated new revenue because we had an incentive for them to come here. You know, Florida's great, and we could be #1 in film and entertainment in the United States.
The incentives, I think, did a very good job for Florida. It brought business in, it employed people, it certainly helped my business.
The film industry has provided us with about 1/3 of our general business over the last 20 to 25 years. With the money that was used to get these companies to come do filming here, you saw a great increase in the volume of productions done here.
Miami, shine on my love and me, so we can stroll beside the road of the rolling sea. Moon over Miami, shine on as we begin, a dream or two that may come true when the tide comes in.
The incentives went away, and so did a good 50% of my business.
We've had to lay some people off here at the beginning of the year. The projected look isn't very good.
And I was gainfully employed until about 12 months ago when tax incentives ran out in the state of Florida. We seem to have lost all our industry. Hard to pay my mortgage, and I'm watching other people in the industry lose their homes as a result of the loss of incentives in the state. I deal with many vendors, water companies, public supermarket, Costco, Mountain Valley Water, and they're all asking me where my business is because they're feeling the pinch.
For the last year, the film industry hasn't provided any revenue for us. When business was very good, our annual revenue from the film industry was about $90,000.
There are just too many companies out there saying, I don't know if we're going to make it another year if we don't get some shows down here. If someone's going to give them incentive to do their shows, they're going to go there. I would.
Well, the incentive is a major part of what makes business flow nowadays. It's become a part of the formula of doing business. So yes, without that incentive boost that we had in last year's budget, losing it this year has slowed down the feature film TV business dramatically. It's taken it basically away, and they've gone elsewhere.
What Michigan is doing is they are really launching themselves to the top of the list by offering a 40% refundable tax credit. We actually have a provision where you could get 2% additional, and that is by filming in some economically depressed areas.
If you hire a Michigan resident, there's an additional incentive.
Previously, we had a $250,000 threshold for expenditures to be able to qualify. We're lowering that actually to $50,000. We're in this thing, and we're in this thing big, because we actually have not put a sunset on it, and we have not put any sort of cap on it on a per project basis or on an annual basis.
It's common sense, people. If we can't make the producers happy here, they're gonna go away.
I am married to an actor. He has done exceptionally well in the state of Florida, except for the last couple of years. And that's absolutely directly related to the incentives that we are not getting in Florida.
Everybody's affected by this. I now have an agent in New York. I have an agent in LA. I fly out there once a month because there isn't enough work here to support me.
3,500 direct jobs, Carolyn, some 1,500 or more spin-off jobs, those indirect jobs that are also vital, right at GM's old truck assembly plant and office complex, bringing a Hollywood film production studio and talent agency to Pontiac.
And it's not just in Pontiac where Hollywood is moving in downtown Detroit, a cutting-edge animation studio.
Mayor Phillips credits Governor Granholm as well as the lawmakers who came up with the generous tax incentive, the best for filmmakers in the country, as well as the Michigan Economic Development Authority.
We are very much impacted by the entertainment industry. Every time a major production is filmed in Miami, we reap the benefits of that. And now, unfortunately, with the changes to the budget, we have felt that business completely evaporate. So every year it generates hundreds of thousands of dollars directly for the hotel. 2009 is the first time where we have nothing. We have nothing.
Our facilities have laid empty primarily. We've been doing events and certain commercial work, but as far as the large major films that come in and take all the facilities and occupy all the employees we have and all that, that has disappeared. And clearly we're now in a crisis because we don't really know how to utilize our real estate-based assets. Do we start shifting to other usages and basically eliminate the future of the film industry in South Florida, or do we do something about it?
The film industry in South Beach for us has been one of the most important catalysts. We have definitely seen that segment has fallen off. And we hear through my people that, they're out there talking to the ones that would be booking this type of business. It is a direct result of incentives being reduced. That is definitely costing our area business.
Our post-production business has suffered a 50% loss of revenue in the last 6 months. And this is the busiest time of our year, January, February, and we have no bookings. The 150 or so people who are working in the various companies, they've lost their medical insurance, their salaries have been cut, many have been let go, and the result of that is broken families, people leaving the state of Florida looking for work elsewhere, and an industry which has been impacted beyond comprehension. My feeling that unless the state is prepared to make a serious effort, a genuine effort to restore the incentive program, that an industry that's been built here over the last 80 or so years is in peril.
It is a wonderful industry, and we really do need to make sure that we bring this industry back to the state of Florida.
It's not any one thing that stimulates an industry. It's a whole chain of things that have to happen to make it work. And one of those things is the legislative support.
Please bring back the incentives. Actually, don't bring back the old incentives. Bring back real incentives, because the old ones weren't enough. We got to compete with New York City. We got to compete with Michigan, with Louisiana, with New Mexico. We got to compete with all of them. And you bring that, I can guarantee you're going to get results, big results.
Well, the difference between supporting what we're asking for, which is a transferable tax credit, and supporting, say, education or healthcare, is in education and healthcare, that's an appropriation. The state has to actually take money out of their general coffers and set that money aside. So that's real money that can't be spent on anything else. Currently, the state of Florida has a rebate, which is similar to that. It's money that they set aside for an incentive for the motion picture business. And what we're asking is we're asking the state to switch it to a transferable tax credit. And what that is a tax credit that's against future revenue. So what happens is they get this tax credit, and they don't actually get the credit until they've spent the money. So they, going to do a $10 million film. That sounds like we're giving $3 million in subsidies to a movie company, and in theory we are. But what it is they don't spend any of that money. They spend that $7 million, and they have to spend the $3 million that they're getting back prior to that. But why this is so important is the way financials are structured on movies today. Without tax incentives, movies aren't made. And unfortunately, that's become the way that all films are financially structured. So without a tax incentive, without a transferable tax incentive that's somewhat competitive with the other states. Films just aren't going to come here because it's that piece of the equation is gone. Why are you going to come to Florida to shoot your film when you can go to Michigan and they're going to give you 40% back, or to Louisiana or 30% back, or as of last week, you could stay home in California and get 20% back from the state. So we're competing with those type of incentives, so it's not a level playing field. Now what this does for the state though is it brings money in that wouldn't have been here otherwise. So, you know, a lot of the legislators may look at like a rebate and say, oh, we have to take this money out and set it aside. But what it is it pays back 7-to-1. So, you know, we put $100 million into it. There's going to be 700 to even possibly more money that will be coming into the state that wouldn't have been otherwise. And though a lot of government looks at tax incentives as, well, you're booking future revenue, the difference is in the film world, it's not like you're booking it against, say, a sin tax like cigarette or alcohol, or a gas tax, or a tax that you know is coming in and you have a decent idea of what that's going to be. Instead, with the film taxes, that's money that wouldn't be there before. The films wouldn't come. So like one of the little things I say to a lot of people is I can't guarantee that feature films will come here in droves if they pass the incentives. The only thing I can guarantee is that if they don't pass it, they won't come.